Ladies and gentlemen, I have a very, very special guest today on the channel. We've got Billy from the Game Chasers, and he is here today to talk about the Game Chasers movie. I have a series of questions lined up for him, and Billy, thank you so much for joining us on the channel today, man. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to do this because I know you're a busy dude, so I really appreciate it.
No, no problem. I don't know how special I am, but thank you for having me on.
Yeah, man, no problem. All right, well, we'll jump right into it. Let's start with this. So, for the people in my audience that may not be aware of the Game Chasers or the movie, do you mind giving a quick rundown of your YouTube channel and then a quick rundown of what the movie is about?
Sure. So the YouTube channel is a bunch of knuckleheads going out looking for retro video games, and it's a reality show. Unfortunately, it's a reality show. If we faked it like real reality shows on TV, we could have an episode up every week. But because we keep it real, it's slim pickings sometimes. I will say though, it's easy to find games. It's much harder to find games on camera because you can go like if you could just go into a store, right? Whatever, it's easy to just there's something there, but it's much harder to go into a store and get permission to film. And so it's always been a thing. Everyone always says there's still games out there. I'm sure there's games out there, but finding them on camera is the tricky part. A lot of times, like you're going to the grocery store and you see a pawn shop. Oh, let me just go pop in for a second. When you're actually physically go out on a weekend and go, we need to shoot a show this weekend. Here's the camera. Here's everyone. Let's go. When you're on the spot, the pressure, that's when it's like, crap. But anyway, sorry, I digress. That is what essentially the show has been for the last 9 years, I guess. And I don't know, like me creatively, I'm like, because I do all the editing and stuff. I make all the videos on the channel, and I'm like, you know what? I kind of want to do something different. And somebody had thrown out the idea of a movie, and I was like, that's. At first, I was like, well, why? Why would we do that? And then the idea kind of grew on me because the idea of what we could possibly do started to get the creative juices flowing. I'm like, oh, okay, this is actually kind of we could do something like really like something that people aren't expecting, but kind of like a they don't know that they want it. I think our fans are gonna like it, but the movie is scripted. It's like an actual. It's not a reality show. It's not a documentary or anything. It's not like the show, but there are elements of the show that gets translated into a narrative scripted movie that I think will translate over well. And it's essentially a road trip movie. Think of like Fanboys or Pee-wee's Big Adventure, something like that, of tracking down in one of the characters' original NES systems. And I like the story, right? So I like the story. I like the idea of doing something like that. I've never seen a movie that tackles something like that before. There's it's the MacGuffin, right? But it's the MacGuffin for every movie is different. But for the NES, to pay homage to that in that way, I've never really seen it and just done the way we do it. And throwing a movie up on Kickstarter, 99% of them fell. But because we have a built-in audience, I was like, well, if the audience wants to see something like this. With the characters that they've grown to like over the years, it makes sense to put us in the movie and tell that story through us. So that is essentially where it came from, and the fans spoke. They wanted it to happen, so we made it. Or shot it. Now I'm in the process of making it right now. You make a movie in post production, so it's a long, tedious, drawn out process. Most companies have like a team of people and stuff. It's only me doing the main editing, but of course I have an amazing VFX artist in Yoshi, Star Wars, Walking Dead, all kinds of mainstream stuff, and a music guy named Martin, who's just absolutely brilliant in the stuff that he's been coming up with, making the music and stuff. So it takes even though it's a small production, it does take a lot of people with expertise well beyond what I have to do this and to make it look right. Because I want this to look right. I want it to look good. I want it to be the best it can be. So
Absolutely, man. And
Sorry if I've drawn on too much about that.
no, that was great. No, that was great. And for everybody listening, I will leave a link to the Game Chasers YouTube channel in the description down below. I highly encourage you to check out their content if you've never seen them, because it is absolutely entertaining, and you will learn a lot about collecting video games and a lot about how to find video games out in the wild. It's really good stuff. So I highly recommend that you check them out. So Billy, is there an official movie name in the works, or is it just simply going to be called the Game Chasers movie?
That is still something that's kind of up in the air. It's not really, it's not been a priority, because movie titles can change up into the moment where they're almost released. Look at Revenge of the Jedi, Return of the Jedi, right?
Yeah.
So it happens all the time. I think once it's done, then I can look at it as a whole and be like, this describes it the best.
Yeah.
Right. But for the fans, it might be something like the name of the movie, and then underneath it, like a subtitle, like a Game Chasers movie, for the fans, because the fans of the Game Chasers are going to know what that is, right?
Yeah.
But for the outside world, everybody that we're trying to potentially reach outside of the Game Chasers audience, it might just bode well to give it like something like a unique sort of name. So that's a work in progress, really.
Gotcha. That makes sense. What inspired you to make the movie, and what other movies and or filmmakers did you draw inspiration from?
Oh God. Well, I mean, I went to. I was making movies as a kid. I went to. I always knew I was going to do something creative. I went to art school. For animation, actually, and then switched my major once they have film classes too, because film and animation go hand in hand, right? So they had film classes, and I'm like, in my heart and soul, I mean, I was doing this stuff as a teenager and a kid, right? So I was like, you know what, this interests me a lot more than animation. So I switched majors and started focusing on that, and I've been doing that for like 20 years, and then this gave me the opportunity to do my own project. So it was like, okay, well, this is, I guess the time's right. I'm a very bad procrastinator. I always thought, even in my late teens, early 20s, one day I'll make a movie. One day I'll make a movie. It's like, I don't want to do it right now though. I'll do it like next year or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not, I don't know. I'm not the most ambitious person. I just like making things on my schedule. It's like if I'm inspired to make something that I really enjoy and love, I'm passionate about it, then I dedicate all I have to that moment. But I just don't know when that moment's going to come. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
So this has been something I've been passionate about and dedicated to. It's like, this is my moment to do it. And it just, it took a little longer than most people to make their first movie. Most people were making them right out of college or whatever, but at least short films anyway.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. It's like most people start off with their first movie being a short film, but it's tackling on your very first movie like this, a feature length is a challenge. However, I will say that, just being in this business to a degree, and I may not have from point A to point B made a fully narrative short or anything, but I kind of have, I have experience with YouTube and other things I've done, off of in my working life, my freelance, when I work with production companies and stuff like that. So it's not like I'm just like wet behind the ears about everything. It's just still though, you saw the size of the crew and stuff like that.
Oh,
like, that it's probably best to something on that scale to do it something shorter to kind of get your feet wet before you dive into a full 3-week throw yourself into the fire aspect, which is what I did. And there was a learning curve for the first 3 days, but then once everything started to click, everything started to click. And there are things I wish had been different, but at the same time, a lot of it came out a lot better than I expected. I'm sorry. And then you asked what was inspired in the movie, and then what other people inspired or did I get inspiration from? A lot of Gremlins. The cinematography and the lighting and stuff, I was really I was directing the guys to do it in sort of like that 80s Goonies, Gremlins sort of style, because I'm very, very inspired by that sort of that idea. I would say definitely Gremlins in the terms of, obviously they're not going to have a bunch of little monsters running. Well,
Right.
can't exactly say that. You were there for that day. But just the idea of blending two genres, which is what Gremlins did masterfully, horror and the comedy. I wanted to, this is at its heart a comedy, but I did want to blend other aspects and other elements into it and try to do it seamlessly, so it's not like it's a disjointed mess, but something that's like you make you feel bad for a second, but then lighten up your spirits and be like, yeah, rah rah rah, then laugh your ass off, sort of thing. Just kind of. To me, it's. Don't get me wrong. I love just full-length comedies and just laughing the whole time. But sometimes I think it's much more interesting to go through a whole wide range of emotions and up and down roller coaster throughout a movie, and you kind of get the whole experience, right? So I drew inspiration in that, and then just in terms of what the structure of the movie is, a lot of inspiration from Fanboys, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Dumb and Dumber, of course, one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
A lot of also aspects of in the music area, Danny Elfman. I love that. So especially when it comes to Pee-wee's Big Adventure, the music score in that movie is just its own character almost. So I really directed, and that's why I'm so grateful to have Martin on board, who can kind of like take the styles and the ideas that I have and make something well beyond what I've even imagined. And so if it was, I've already had a few pieces scored by him in the movie, and he just brings the whole thing to life in a way that it wouldn't have been otherwise.
In the teaser trailer, is the music that I hear in the teaser trailer, is that from him?
Some of it is, some of it's not. I just wanted to get it up quickly, and he's the guy's he's got a full-time job in music, and he's already scoring things for the movie. I was kind of like, let me just put some generic stuff in here right now, just because I don't want to put more on your plate. I already feel bad because you're working so hard.
Right.
But then he came back and was like, dude, just let me score the trailer. So all right. So the official trailer will be scored by him.
Cool.
But the music in that I took from what he had already done. So it's very close anyway. Gotcha. So basically through the hell, he started on this 6-7 months before we even shooting. But he was he read the script. I gave him the script, and I'm like, what this is kind of what I'm thinking here. What do you think? And then this is the inspiration I'm drawing in. Maybe this particular Danny Elfman score going into this place or whatever. And then so he would do that. He'd spend a week working on something and give me samples. And so I got a ton of samples. I'm like, yes, brilliant. I freaking love that. And so I took what he had stuff that emulated that as best I could to just kind of throw in the trailer so I could just edit real quick. Because when it comes to scoring something, I have to give him the trailer, and then he has to spend several days, because I've got proper scores. Like you go in you put a piece of music here at this point, and then you blend it into this particular point right here, and it's just easier if I do like a quick sort of not as good, obviously, but it's quicker. Just quickly, just some royalty-free stuff. Okay, this is essentially what it's going to be like, guys. This is an example to give you an idea of the feeling that we're going for. And once the movie's out, his score will blow anything that I ever put in the trailer away. I promise you that.
Gotcha. That makes sense. So you sort of touched on this just a little bit, but for you personally, what was the experience of filming a movie like? And what are a few of the unexpected challenges that you ran into?
Well, filming the movie is extremely difficult when you're directing and acting in it. That's the biggest challenge. It can be done, obviously. There are lots of people who do it, but those people have a lot of experience doing that, and I don't. Right, so that was one of the biggest challenges. It was overall, it was a fun experience, though. One of the best things that I learned that you could do is hire a crew that you can gel with. because I hear so many I was told so many horror stories about, this guy might be good at his job, but he is a pain in the ass, And if a movie set, you were there for like 3 days, right? So you understand it basically becomes like a family over that period of time. So we became a family that we're seeing each other 12, 13 hours a day for 6 days out of the week, 3 weeks, right? So you want to like the people you're around.
Yeah.
And that's not to say the talent isn't important too. Obviously that is, but you want to, if the determining factor are two guys that are really good at a job, and you're like, I'm going to pick the person I gel with a lot more because obviously I'm going to spend a lot of time with them. And we had an amazing crew, and what I liked most about that is they were very understanding of the plight that I was in, of being, not exactly sure of a few things. Or just not being as experienced as as people that they're probably used to working with director wise, but very patient, especially this first few days, and they brought up some really good ideas. Like if something wasn't working right, if I was like, I really want this, it's not working. Peter, Rudy, the AD, Larissa, the line producer, they present me with ideas, and they well, what about this idea? And a lot of times I'd just be like, you know what? That's brilliant. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. And I don't know how it is on all movie sets, but I would imagine like there's a lot of egos when it comes to movie sets, and the director probably is not like, he doesn't want to take any sort of advice from anyone or anything like that. And there's like a structure, almost like a militaristic structure of like, you don't go to the director and present him with any ideas. Now if it's like a PA or something coming on, or an extra or something, tell the director, hey, you should do that. That's one thing. Right. But I was all open for ideas and alternatives, and everything. I was open to the idea, and I did my best to not go in and try to be like, I know everything, because I don't. I didn't. And I like I said before, I wanted this thing to be the best it could possibly be, and that sometimes that, hey, the ideas that you have aren't the best. Let's switch it up a little bit. So, so that was something I learned really quick. Another difficulty would be just the lack of money. This is one thing. People think that $100,000 or $120,000 is which is one we ended up getting after fees and stuff, is a lot of money to shoot a movie, and it's not. Right. It just, oh my God, it just goes by so quickly. And the biggest hurdle when it comes to the money is everybody that's there has to be paid that day, right? So every day that you shoot is more money. So Rudy's job, the AD, he writes the schedule, is to come the most cost-effective schedule that we can shoot this thing in the amount of days that we have budgeted for. And sometimes that means that I can't get the shots that I want because we have so many pages of the script that we have to shoot in a particular day, because we can only afford to be in this location for today. Right. So if we're only allowed to be in this location, or can only afford to be in this location today, we have to shoot this big scene today. So there was a scene with it was supposed to be a big epic like Braveheart battle scene, and we had to shoot it, cram it into half a day. And scenes like that in other movies would be spread out over days, right. Multiple days. But we just couldn't afford to do that. Yep. Every day you add to the schedule is a day people have to be paid. It's a day that you have to pay for extra locations. It's a day you have to extra days for camera not just camera equipment rental, which is thousands. You got lights, you got microphones, you got the camera itself, which is over $100K. Not to rent. I mean, like to buy. So the rental is high, but no, that was disheartening. Because you want to spend the least amount of money possible, just so overall. That way you can be like, okay, I can use this for something else. Because you always want to be under budget, so you can use that left to be like, you know what, this movie is good, but how about some icing on the cake? And that's what filmmakers love, is icing on the cake. I wasn't able to afford this thing before, but since we saved money here, and here, now we can go get this, and it's going to be awesome. But then unfortunately we never encountered that, because we kind of went a little bit over budget, unfortunately. And it's just one of those things where I try not to think about it on set, but I'm sitting there constantly signing checks, because the line producer takes care of writing the checks, but because the bank is through me, I have to sign them, right? So she's giving me this check, and I'm like, sign. Here's payroll, sign. Here's this person's payroll. Here's equipment rental. Here's the location. Here's the actors. And I'm like signing. Every Friday I was signing like 50 checks, and I'm like, oh my God,
wow,
where's the money going? Where's it going? and you can't think about it. I already got too much stuff on my mind right already. So like, the shoot right, and I'm blocking out the scene. Okay, this person needs to be here. This person needs to be here. We here. And then Rudy's, and then Chris is setting up the lights. We need to put the lights here. And then Rudy's like, well, okay, you need to get this shot. But if we don't get this shot, we need to get this shot. And I'm like, my brain's about to explode. And somebody's coming at me with like, hey, sign all these checks. All right. So what are we gonna do here? Oh yeah, all right, yeah, let's do that. And then, oh shit. And then then who knows what I signed, right? I'm like, signed away somebody's down payment on a car for all I know. No, I mean, she didn't. She kept good records, everything. So I could go and see everything. But at the same time, it's just like I can't worry about that stuff, right? I have to worry about on making the best movie I can. I can't worry about checks. And that's why on a movie set you have so many people, and you have so many people doing specific jobs. The director isn't going around on a movie set signing checks, all right? But we don't have any choice in our set, right? So it is what it is.
Gotcha. To touch on the acting aspect a little bit, so how did you and Jay and your other friends and fellow YouTubers that were starring in the movie, how did you all prepare for the acting? Did you take any classes or anything like that? How did you prepare?
We were intended on taking classes. However, I quickly found out that classes, and I don't know how it is in anywhere else, but in the DFW area, it is astronomical. We're talking like a few $1,000s. So I was like, well, that's out the door. Can't afford to do that. So I just did my best to track down like a personal acting coach. Maybe if we just paid somebody to go over the script with us just a few times a week, give them $100 for the night or whatever, that'd be good. It's very, very hard to find someone to do that, because those people want $200 or $300 a day to do that.
Yeah.
And I finally tracked down somebody. She was willing to do it for like a couple hours for $75 for all of us. I'm like, okay, I'll do it. But before we start the classes, she was like, I have to cancel. Life's gotten better with me, so she couldn't do it anymore. So we could literally could not find anybody to do it. And again, this is DFW. It's not like California, right? There's probably one on every block in California and LA, but around DFW, it's you don't really have that much to choose from. At least not right now. Kind of goes in ebbs and flows in terms of like productions and stuff that are happening here. But just right now, it's kind of dried up. Yeah, there used to be a lot of shows that were shot here, but not so much anymore. Yeah. So we did that, or tried to do that. But there was some prep work that we did and did the best that we could. We rented an office that we could all meet at, and a couple times a week we would just go over the script, read lines, and we did this, couple months before, we started filming and stuff, and we kind of got the sense of like, hey, this works, this doesn't work, how should this person do it, how should that person do it, and it helped out a lot. But still, you're asking people that haven't acted before in their life to all of a sudden be in a movie. But with that said, it actually turned out a lot better than I thought. I thought it was going to. I'm going to be honest with you here. Like, I thought it was going to be a disaster. I thought it was going to be a disaster. that was my main concern going in. I'm
Mhm.
like, nobody here's actors.
Yeah.
What the hell are we gonna do? What were we thinking, right? What were we? Are
Mhm.
we crazy? I can't tell you how many times I stayed up in bed looking at the ceiling, thinking to myself, what in the hell have we gotten ourselves into? We're not actors. What are we
Mhm.
doing? It's a horrible idea. But it turned out. It
Yeah.
turned out. You're not going to go over there and see.
Mhm.
You're not going to go into this theater. If you go to the premiere, you're not going to go to the theater. If you get the Blu-ray or digital, you're not going
Mhm.
to watch this movie and be like, okay, look, this is like Tom Cruise and Tom Hanks and
Mhm.
Reese, Reese Witherspoon, and I don't
Mhm.
know why I brought her name, uh, but you're also, I don't think, going to be taken out by like.
Mhm.
It's definitely not the acting on The Room.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so we find that happy balance. It's
Yeah.
Jay and Silent Bob level. So
Yeah.
I you know what? I was going into this. I was like, we at least hit Jay and Silent Bob level. I'll be fine.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
all you need. That's all you need for this. Look, we're not trying to win Academy Awards here, right?
Yeah.
So it is decent.
Yeah. Well, based on what I saw while I was on set, I thought everybody was great, man. Like I was really impressed with how everybody did. So.
I appreciate it. Appreciate
Yep.
that.
Yep.
There was a lot of standouts in my mind. Eric stood out.
Yes, he did.
For sure. He brought this goofy over the topness that
Mhm.
really it did. Some of the scenes definitely needed that.
Yeah.
His ridiculousness. So
Yeah.
it helped out a lot.
Awesome. So, how has planning/filming and editing the Game Chaser series on YouTube prepare you for this particular project?
I don't know that it has, honestly.
Mhm.
I don't know that it has. I mean, because it's a completely different beast,
Right.
like completely different.
Yeah.
When you're editing, no, yeah, it's a completely different beast.
Yeah.
Because the show has its own format and done a
Mhm.
certain way, and this movie is not even anything close to that.
Mhm.
I can't even say like familiarity with the software because I'm
Mhm.
using a completely different software to edit the movie in. I'm using
Yeah.
maybe some aspects with After Effects and stuff.
Mhm.
There are some rudimentary special effects
Mhm.
I could do that I've learned throughout my years that I can apply on this.
Mhm.
But in terms of like structural, I will. Okay, you know what? I will say actually, not from a cutting standpoint
Mhm.
of physical cuts, but
Mhm.
in terms of maybe emotional strands, pulling the emotional strands.
Mhm.
Um, uh, Especially if you look back at like episode 61 with the Don going to the bridge,
Yeah.
being able to kind of mix the humor with the emotional strands.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would say that. Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, yeah, because Game Chasers isn't just, if you watch the show, I mean, isn't
Mhm.
just out and looking for games. Each one almost has like an underlining sort of theme
Yeah.
or story to it. Like in the last one, the it's it's kind of dumb, but it's the overall story is
Mhm.
Chris going ahead and doing all that the bickering and the infighting with all that stuff. So
Yeah.
each one almost has like its own little story arc. So
Mhm.
I think playing to that arc, playing to that story has helped me to maybe you know understand or see
Mhm.
what elements when I'm editing the movie translate well to adding to the story or maybe are
Mhm.
unnecessary to the story. So yeah, I would definitely put that. Hey, yeah, you made me think on that one.
Mhm.
Good,
Good.
could you? I mean, made me think on that one. I hadn't even thought about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Awesome. Awesome. So what was it like to write your first movie script? How difficult was it? And did you follow a typical 3-act structure?
It was difficult. Yes.
Mhm.
It took me a year.
Wow.
Yeah, no, nobody rushed into this thing.
Yeah.
It took a year before the Kickstarter. The Kickstarter started I think February. Last February. I started on the script the previous January.
Oh wow.
So yeah, and there's writing is essentially rewriting. So you write, and then you see what doesn't work, and then you rewrite it, and then that doesn't work anymore, so you rewrite it. It was very difficult. I'm not a professional writer, I'm not a professional script writer. However, I watch a lot of movies, right? I understand what works sometimes and what doesn't work in a lot of cases. I understand what you need to do. I understand structure. I understand certain aspects of a script that the audience has come to expect. And a lot of it is just that, the audience coming to expect in terms of how structures are supposed to be in a movie. And there are studies that found that if something deviates too much from that structure, it does. A lot of times it doesn't do as well. It may get like a cult following if it's something that's really super crazy, but it really kind of has to be that. I'm hesitant to say formulaic because it's not really, because this is a structure that's been around since even like plays, right? Shakespeare and his 3-act plays, right? This is something that's been around forever. So you really kind of you have to structure it in that way to get the almost our adapted brain that are used to that sort of thing to kind of understand it and enjoy it more, so they're not having to really think too much about. Trust me, with our movie you don't have to think too much, but so I understand. You understand. The points and the first act, the midway point, and then the midway point in the second act. So the second act is essentially 2 acts in itself. So it's really 3 is a 4. But that midway point where something like, point of no return or something crazy happens at the first turning point in the first, you guys always show the character in the normal everyday life in the first act, and midway through something changes their day, something happens that's like, okay, this changes our life here for a minute, and then the adventure begins in the second act, and then everything goes to hell in the last part of the second act, and then hopefully the heroes rise in the third act and the final battle occurs. It's pretty formulaic, right? But it works. But that aspect wasn't difficult. It's like, okay, this is not, I know what I need to do, right? But it's like, how do you get from point A to point B to point C, and then how do you make it? There were some obviously I can't give away too much because I'd be spoiling the movie, but there were some aspects of this where it just drove me crazy. I would focus on it for months, and I would take it to like Jay and MC or Jay and Melbourne, and they'd be stumped too, because it was a fundamental issue that we were having with some point in the script, but it was like every time we changed it to something else, it created a new set of problems, and that's the biggest like hurdle a lot of times with when you're writing the script is I can make a change here, but it creates a domino effect. Because even if it's not near the end, right? You can change something in the front, obviously it's going to change everything to the end of the movie. But even if you change something at the end, a lot of times it's a domino effect in the opposite direction, because now those things that you set up in the first act or whatever, now they don't make any sense, or even like a line of dialogue, right? Even if somebody says something, a line of dialogue, all of a sudden, if you change one little thing at the end, sometimes then that line of dialogue doesn't make any sense anymore. So you got to change that, but then you change that, it changes something else that was set up, maybe a little bit later. So it's like a puzzle that you just got to keep, trying to fit a piece in, and then that doesn't work, so you try to fit another piece in, and you just try to paint the picture, right? And that just drove me crazy. And there were some aspects where it's like, look, this is just the way it's going to be. It might not make much sense. And you were there for a lot of those. It might not make much sense, but honestly, it's more entertaining. And I want something that's entertaining. I'm not going to be a stickler for like, okay, wait, how did that happen? That makes no sense. This isn't Schindler's List, right?
Right.
So I'd much rather entertain people that
Mhm.
be 100% realistic, makes sense. Now I want to blend the two. I don't want
Yeah.
something to be so outrageous that it just defies common sense, but I'm not like stringent, strict on
Mhm.
it. Like I
Yeah.
want something entertaining. That's the main goal.
Gotcha. Awesome. All right, we just got a few quick questions left. How will people be able to watch? It may be too early to ask this, but how will people be able to watch the movie after it's released or after it's finished and released? Besides the Blu-ray.
So we're gonna have Blu-ray. We're gonna have digital downloads that you can obviously get on the. So you can still get on the IndieGoGo.
Hmm.
And there's going to be a limited theater run. We're premiering it at a Texas theater, and then it's also going to have a running at Studio Movie Grill, and that's big here in the Texas area. I'm not sure how far it stretches in other
Hmm.
parts of the country, but that hasn't been finalized. But it's been like a handshake deal, I guess.
Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
and then who knows? Who knows what happens
Hmm.
in that? Film festivals, who knows?
Hmm.
After that, who knows? Maybe
Yeah.
Amazon, Netflix, who knows? Like you aim for the sky, and if it doesn't
Hmm.
happen, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It's whatever. The point is, the people that made this happen, the
Hmm.
people that donated, they're not going to have to rebuy the movie, right?
Hmm.
So they're going to get it once it's released. So
Awesome. Perfect. Now, this may not be a question that you can answer, especially with all the craziness going on in the world right now. But as of right now, where you're at, do you have an
no idea.
estimated? I didn't think so.
No idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this whole bull
Yeah.
has really put a
Yeah.
damper on things. So my wife is military, and
Hmm.
we're having to be on lockdown here, so I can't.
Hmm.
There's no babysitting the kid right now. I have to babysit
Right.
it myself. So
Right.
like it's for weeks.
Yeah.
I can't do much of anything.
Yeah.
Um, we were supposed to around this time go out and get pickup shots. And for those of you who don't know what pickup shots are, they're things. Once you start editing, like, oh damn, there was a shot here we should have got that's really going to help. Where there could be something simple like a foot hitting the
Hmm.
gas pedal to
Yeah.
kind of like enhance like a car taking off and zooming by scene. There's little stuff like that. Um, Maybe like a close up of a punch or something.
Hmm.
Then we were going to go out and we were going to get a lot of that stuff
Hmm.
when spring happened, once it started
Hmm.
warming up a little bit. And right now, obviously, we can't go out because we're in lockdown.
Right.
We can't do
Right.
it, can't physically do it. But even
Right.
before that, the film industry in Texas just pretty much just started shutting down productions. No actors want to go out, no
Hmm.
cameraman want to go out, no nothing. It's on pretty much shut down. So yeah, that's it's challenging right now.
Yeah.
It's challenging. My goal was to actually have it up for early summer. Now my goal is fall.
Yeah.
It'd be great to have it ready
Yeah.
for like October.
Yeah.
I think that'd be cool.
Yeah.
So that's
What? Well, I'm with everything going on in the world right now. I'm sure a vast majority of people are going to be understanding about that. It's not just you. Things are shutting down all over the place. So, it is what it is. But here's the important question. How can people right now, today, still support the movie?
well, like I said, anybody that wants to support it, or at this point, you're pre-ordering it, right? So
Mhm.
you're not. Hey, here's $50 for nothing, or here's
Yeah.
$15 for nothing. So you go to IndieGoGo and you're basically pre-ordering the movie. Is this something sounds like you might be interested in? You throw in, and once it's done, if you get the digital release, then you'll get the digital release
Mhm.
upon when it's done. And the Blu-rays are obviously going to take a little bit longer. So
Right.
everyone that got a Blu-ray gets a digital release too.
Mhm.
So once it's done and we're like, okay, we're ready to release it, right?
Mhm.
Then everyone who contributed gets the digital release, and then obviously after that, sometime I don't know when, the Blu-ray physical edition will come out with all the extra bonuses and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So
Right.
yeah, but all that you can get on the IndieGoGo.
Perfect. Yeah, and I'll throw a link to the IndieGoGo page in the description, as well as a link to the Game Chaser social media pages. Everybody, I highly recommend that you follow those, because that's the best way Billy, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the best way for people to stay up to date on what's going on with the movie, right?
I would say so, yeah.
Yep. Perfect. Perfect. All right. I've got two quick bonus questions for you. They're not really related to the movie, just a couple of things I'm curious about.
Oh, sure.
So this one's a hypothetical question. If you never started the Game Chasers YouTube channel, what do you think you'd be doing right now instead?
At this very moment, probably unemployed. Because that's what happened the last time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the economy went down. I was working in a production company doing commercials, so I would shoot and edit commercials for TV. And in 2008, the economy crashed, and then it kind of slowly dwindled down. Our business just went under. It wasn't my business. I worked for somebody, but the business just nobody was advertising, or if they were going to in-house stuff. So we just didn't really have any more work. And then I think late 2009, I got laid off from that. And then, it was a little bit after that I started the YouTube channel. Gotcha. I would just be probably doing the same thing I was doing. Like I edit videos for like independent clients. I've edited, obviously I was doing commercials, but doing that and graphic work for real estate companies and insurance companies and radio hosts and stuff like that. That's basically the freelance stuff that I've been doing,
Gotcha.
off and on for 20 years. Gotcha. But I'd probably just be focused on that. And who knows, maybe working at a production house and somewhere else again. But it's who knows, right? I like to, though that stuff pays the bills a lot better than what I'm doing now. But what I'm doing now is more fun.
Yeah, right.
So it's a trade-off, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, you gotta have money. Obviously, money's great, but at the end of the day, to me, if you have a job that you love, if you're doing something that you love, that you truly enjoy, and that you're passionate about, to me, that's more important than having a job making a shitload of money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
The thing about it is like when I had those jobs, I wasn't really passionate about it. It was, trust me, I don't want to feel like I'm complaining, because there are people who have really difficult jobs. I've had to roof houses before and dig ditches and sell vacuum cleaners. I've had some real shitty jobs that's like, it sucks. So, especially being out in the Texas heat, I've had to work factories tipping aluminum components in acid all day long.
Ooh.
In a 110-degree factory with no air conditioning, obviously, and so I don't want to sound like I'm complaining and stuff, but still, I sit down at a desk and edit like an instructional video for like an insurance company, and put a PowerPoint slides up and stuff, and I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, I want this to be over. And so now I get to do videos that I like to do about subjects that I'm interested in. I'm interested in video games and toys and paranormal stuff. I'm interested in that stuff. I'm not interested in the inner workings of an insurance company or a moving company and all that other stuff. So.
Gotcha. Last question, and this is another thing that I've always been curious about. So what do you and Jay like to do for fun when you're not working on the YouTube channel and when you're not game chasing? What are some other things that you guys like to do?
Well, right now it's not happening because of the world, but we play softball, go to the gym.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we have a softball league, softball team, and two-time champions. 2 times out of like 30. So just stuff like that. Yeah.
Awesome.
Honestly, these days we really only pretty much hang out just to do stuff with the show, because we live kind of, we don't live close. We used to live close. We don't live close anymore. And it's my life's changed. I'm definitely more family oriented right now, so it's like spend a lot of time with that. So so it's not like back in the single days in our 20s and going out and doing all kinds of stupid shit.
Gotcha. Is there?
And we still hang out and do
Yeah.
the, especially like softball, and that's kind of like a stress relief, I guess you could say.
Gotcha. Is there anything else at all you want to say to the audience?
I know. I mean, if you're a part of the people that contributed to making the movie, we want to just say thank you, appreciate that, and this movie's for you.
Yes.
And if it's something you think you'll be interested in and want to help out, it'll definitely help out, because there's still some money we need to throw into post-production, pay these people to make this thing look marvelous. So
Yes.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, Billy, thanks again for joining me today, man. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to do this interview, and I am absolutely pumped for the movie. I can't tell you how much I'm pumped for it, and I know everybody else that backed is pumped for it as well. And based on what I saw while I was on set, I can tell everybody that this movie is going to be something special. I really believe that.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. All right, thanks, man.
Mm-hmm.